Good day. I'm Sergeant Shelby Dockery of the Jasper Police Department, and the purpose of this video is to offer a deconstruction of the social control theory of Travis Hirschi, originally called the social bond theory. This theory was developed in 1969 as a societal approach to the explanation of crime and criminality. According to Williams and McShane in 2018, Hirschi argued that the power of internalized norms, conscience, and the desire for approval encourage conventional behavior. Hirschi's idea was that four bonding elements would determine whether someone was likely to engage in criminal behavior, these being their attachment to the society, their involvement within the society, their commitment to the society, and their level of belief regarding such things as respect for authority and the rule of law. I selected this theory for examination both because it seems largely conversant with classical criminology approaches which I favor, and because Emil Durkheim's work with this theory was too old to be eligible for consideration. The problem to be answered concerning this theory is whether the theory is as applicable to the explanation of crime and criminality as Hirschi intended it to be. The theory seems strong from the top down, but if it is not applicable to a great many types of cases, its utility is greatly diminished as a result. The research question tied to this problem statement is, to what extent does social control theory explain criminal phenomena? Again, if this theory seems lacking concerning a significant portion of criminality, it cannot stand alone as a total explanation of crime. The expected findings of this study is that there is some support for the applicability of this theory to the explanation of crime, but not perfect or complete support. Some studies offered support for social control theory, such as Abdi and Ellis's in 2020, which found that social bonds help to explain the relationship between adversity, specifically discrimination, and antisocial behaviors and attitudes among Somali youths resettled in North America. Similarly, DeSales and Aquino in 2020 considered that workplace vigilantes emerge as a role identity, and in response to a perceived vacuum of social control in their organizations, to fight for their version of justice. At the same time, support for this approach is not universal. Nielsen in 2019 considered the matter from Hirschi's consideration of whether social bonds to unconventional parents would result in conventional child behavior or deviant behavior, finding that no impact of attachment on adolescents' convictions once all controls are added, regardless of whether attachment is reported by the child or the mother. However, mothers' knowledge of their children's friends significantly reduced the risk of child conviction. This is a mixed support for Hirschi's social control theory at best, showing that social bonds or controls have some impact on criminality, while convictions on the part of the parents do not necessarily translate into convictions for the children. Self-reporting approaches are supportive of social control theory as well, but other approaches are mixed on their support. For instance, a study by Cho and Norman of social control theory in 2020 and its effect on marijuana use found that in cases of studies which were cross-sectional, the findings provided correlations between risk and protective factors of marijuana use, but it did not show the time-ordered causal direction, so that studies of a longitudinal approach might better display causality instead of correlation. In other words, there is some support for social control theory, but further research is required to bolster its claims. If I were to conduct a case study on this theory, I imagine that my results would be similar, that the theory does explain crime in some ways, but it needs further support to generalize its explanation to accounting totally for crime and criminality. 3 questions that I anticipate from this video are: 1. How does Durkheim's social control theory differ from Hirschi's social control theory? 2. What forms of research are necessary to further support the validity and applicability of social control theory? And 3. Why are self-report measures the only methodology so far that unanimously results in strong support for social control theory? Thank you.